Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving headfirst into the colossal battle between two AI video titans, Google's Veo 3.1 and OpenAI's Sora 2. Is Google really about to put Sora out of business? We're going to cut through the hype and find out. But hey, before we get into the nitty-gritty, if you're as obsessed with this AI revolution as I am, do me a huge favor and smash that like and subscribe button for @BrandTechOff. Seriously, it's the best way to make sure you do not miss our next deep dive. You know, the generative AI race has just exploded, moving from images into the wild world of video. And these two models, they are on the absolute bleeding edge. So the real question is, which one should you be using for your projects? All right, let's meet our two champions. They both create some absolutely stunning AI video, but you're about to see they come at it from two completely different angles. In one corner, you've got OpenAI's Sora 2, a model that is all about blistering speed and really cool creative social features. And in the other corner, we have Google's Veo 3.1, which is laser-focused on delivering just breathtaking cinematic quality and some seriously advanced audio. So how do they actually stack up on paper? Well, a quick look at the core specs reveals a really fascinating story about where their priorities lie. Okay, so right away, you can see a pattern emerging, right? Veo 3.1 is the undisputed king of quality. We're talking true 4K resolution, longer videos, and way more comprehensive audio. But then you get to that last row, and the whole game changes. Sora 2 is an absolute speed demon, and that, my friends, is a game changer. And this brings us to what is probably the most critical decision for any creator. Are you willing to trade time for quality? Or is pure unadulterated speed the most important thing in your workflow? Just let that number sink in for a second. 40 to 50%. That's how much faster Sora 2 is than Veo 3.1. We are not talking about a tiny little difference here. We're talking about a massive, massive leap in efficiency. So here's the bottom line. What is your goal? If you need to pump out tons of content for social media, test dozens of ideas, and just move fast, Sora 2's speed is basically a superpower. But if you're producing a short film or a professional commercial, Veo 3.1's broadcast-ready 4K footage is just in a whole other league. And what does that 40 to 50% speed advantage actually mean for a creator who's in the trenches every day? Well, get this. If you're making about 100 videos a month, you're looking at a time savings of nearly 33 hours. That is almost a full work week you get back every single month. Just think about what you could do with all that extra time. But you know, specs on a slide are one thing. To see how these tools really perform in the real world, we're turning to an amazing deep dive from Mashable, who put both of these models through a brutal gauntlet of tests. Let's see who came out on top. All right, first up, Mashable gave both models a classic cinematic prompt, a woman walking through Tokyo at night in the rain. Okay, so while both did a pretty good job, Veo 3.1's output was just way more detailed and immersive. It used a wider angle shot that just created a much more interesting cinematic scene. Round one goes to Veo. The next test was designed to push two very specific things: how well they follow a specific visual style, in this case a 2D animation, and the quality of the dialogue they could generate. And this one brilliantly illustrates Veo 3.1's strength. It was the only one that actually followed the 2D animation instruction. Sora 2 just made a 3D video instead. And on top of that, Veo's dialogue was way more realistic. Mashable describes Sora's audio as sounding like the characters were, and I quote, sleep-talking. That is a clear, decisive win for Veo. Now for a feature that is absolutely tailor-made for the creator economy. The ability to insert your own face directly into an AI-generated video. And here, Sora 2 lands an absolute knockout blow. Its Cameo feature, which lets you just easily drop your own face into a video, is built for this stuff. Veo 3.1, on the other hand, is way more restrictive, often refusing to even generate videos with real people to prevent deepfakes. So for all you social media creators out there, Sora 2 is the clear winner here. So after running through all the tests, the final verdict from Christian DeLooper over at Mashable was pretty overwhelming. He awarded the overall win for quality and versatility to Google's model, saying, "The winner, it's Veo 3, and it's not close." But look, quality and features are only part of the equation, right? For any serious creator, the real bottom line is cost. And when we look at the total cost of ownership, well, this is where things get really interesting. Now, what's so fascinating about this slide is how the math completely flips depending on how much you create. For hobbyists and even mid-level creators, VO 3.1's free tier and flexible pricing make it cheaper. But for agencies pumping out hundreds of videos a month, Sora 2's API pricing gives it a massive, massive cost advantage. So after all of that, who's the champion? Well, the real answer isn't about who destroyed whom, it's about which one of these models wins for your specific needs as a creator. This decision matrix really boils it all down. Look, if your world is social media, memes, and high-volume content where speed is absolutely everything, Sora 2 is your tool, no question. But for anyone who needs professional cinematic quality, true 4K resolution, and sophisticated audio with dialogue, VO 3.1 is the undisputed champion. So the battle for today might be over, but the war for AI video dominance is really just getting started. The real question is, what are you going to create with these incredible new tools? Let me know your plans down in the comments below. Thanks for watching.